Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you love anime, heartfelt reactions, and deep dives into symbolism and themes, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into today's reaction, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of fun. And if you want even more exclusive content like early access to my reactions, full-length anime watch-alongs, and an amazing community of fellow anime lovers, then please do check out my Patreon. Your support truly means the world as it helps to keep these reactions coming, and I'd love to have you join our cozy little anime family. Today, we are reacting to episode 21 of Frieren, and I cannot believe we are so close to the end now. We only have a couple more episodes to go, and then we're over until January. And I know people kept commenting, it's only a mere 7 months, but it feels like forever. I am not like Frieren. I am not an elf. Time is not an illusion to me. I wish wholeheartedly that I could just go, it's a mere 7 months. Time is nothing to me, but that's not the case. Time is everything, and I cannot wait to see series 2, how it progresses. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal, and I also cannot wait to see how this ends because we're still in the middle of the major exam, and this is only the first test. We haven't seen the other tests yet, so we should be coming to that at some point, but we're left on a bit of a cliffhanger, which is Frieren still got stolen. She's about to have a showdown with an Imperial mage that knows who she is because he recognizes her from the Party of Heroes. He's like one of the only mages that seems to actually know who Frieren is because he was alive when all this was going down. And as he said, like, no mage in his generation wouldn't be aware of who Frieren was, whereas everyone else seems to be significantly younger, showing that generational gap that's kind of emerging in terms of the magic system in this world. There is a generational divide, and we kind of got a hint of that in terms of how Fern's magic is seen as older, not older in terms of it being outdated. I need to stress that it's not outdated, it's still very valid, advanced magic, especially because it's reversed magic in order to kill demons. It's incredibly powerful, but in the scheme of what's going on here, Fern using those simple, in her words, simple defensive and offensive magic was seen as old school, old fashioned, and we're seeing new magic systems that have been invented, new skills that people are honing, which seem more advanced than the magic that Fern is using, but it's actually not. What Fern's using is far more powerful than their magic will ever be. That's not to say that it's not worth honing new skills, but it just goes to show that essentially there's becoming a bit of a divide. People seeing that that magic is more older. It's of the generation above them, not so much their generation, because you have to remember that it was essentially created 90 years ago. So younger mages are going to see that as old-fashioned magic. Not that it's not worth learning, but they're not going to see it essentially as the most up-to-date magic. I'm not saying that it's outdated. I'm not saying that it's not worth learning, but I think the show is trying to emphasize that there is becoming a bit of a generational gap within mages, that the mages of the younger generation are so intent on learning newer skills, newer magic, that they're not so much focused on what they deem as older magic because they don't deem it as necessary. Whereas it is incredibly powerful and incredibly necessary still to this day, but they possibly overlook it in favor of new magic, new skills to be honed. Hence why when Fern is fighting her opponent says, like fighting my granddad, because it's seen as an older school of magic, not so much a modern school of magic. And again, I'm not saying that it's not worth using. I'm not saying that it's outdated. I'm merely saying that it's showing a generational divide between the mages of today and the mages of old. The mages before recognize this as new and advanced. The mages today don't necessarily give it the credit and the attention that it is owed. Hence why they are overwhelmed when they are confronted by it, because they haven't mastered the skills in the same way that Fern has, because that's what she's learned under Frieren. So I just needed to get that out before anyone gets confused. I'm not saying that it's not worth learning. I'm not saying that it's outdated. I'm just saying that in terms of the newer majors we're seeing emerge, they likely see it as outdated because of how old that magic is in comparison to the magic that's being invented today. That is more modern, more stylized, more cool in their opinion, which is no different to the generational device that we have today. What I thought was cool 10 years ago is no longer cool. So it's a very valid message to touch upon, is that as you get older, the things that you put attention and dedication and time into no longer have the same value when it comes to the younger generation. They don't value it the same way. In the same way that we've now seen Siri, who's in charge of the Continental Magic Association, is granting people's wishes if they become a first mage, almost enticing people to do this exam. And I have a feeling that it could be to do with exploiting humanity's greed for magic rather than humanity's love for magic. And in exchange for becoming a first mage, we're going to give you the spell of your deepest desires. Just screams, are people doing this for the right reason? And trying to figure out if people are doing this for the right reason, maybe as a critique on society, on humanity, or maybe Siri just truly loves magic and wants to be at the center, at the heart of all things magic in this world, especially when it comes to humanity. It could just be that maybe Siri has a fascination with magic and wants to know everything about it, and the only way to do so is to be in the center of it, to be at the heart of this association. I don't know, it could be either a critique on humanity's greed when it comes to magic, or it could just be a genuine love for magic and wanting to be the person that's at the heart of it all, that you're that infatuated with magic that you need to be at the center of the magic association and see all these mages coming into contact with each other and going through the association in order to become qualified. But there's something about the qualifications that just makes it seem very formal, very official. And there's also the obsession with tracking down mages that were around during the Demon King's time. It's a little odd. It's a little strange, I won't lie. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 21 and we're going to see how this plays out today. Oh, we're back to Flem. We haven't seen Flem in a while. Frieren knows her. You could see that little interaction, like she recognized the name. Still there. Still there. Centuries later. Crazy. I can't wait to see how this goes down. They're just so unfazed. But it'll probably be like this every exam.
特権などくだらん。
ねえ、どうしてそう思うの？
魔法というものは探し求めている時が一番楽しい。それだけだ。
気まぐれで育てた弟子がもう孫弟子を連れてきよった。
Oh,
フリーレン
okay.
エルフか。
She trained Flem.
強いな。気に入った。
Wow, okay.
望む魔法を言う
Full
がいい。
circle.
一つだけ授けてやる。私は今までの歴史で書かれたほぼすべての魔導書の知識を持っている。
The original hoarder of
魔法使いと
magic.
いうものは人生をかけて望んだ魔法を探し求めるものだ。
いらない。魔法は探し求めている時が一番楽しいん
Wow.
だ。
Ah! It's what he just said.
フランメ。やはりダメだこの子は。野心が足りん。燃えたぎるような野心が。
I would say it's the opposite.
この子はいつか魔王を倒すよ。
She would rather discover it herself than have it
平和な
handed
時
to
代を
her.
切り開くんだ。だってさ先生、 平和な時代に生きる自分の姿が想像でき
She's kind of like, in terms of mage history, she's kind of like
フリ
Frieren's
ーレンは平和な
grandma.
時代の魔法使
Not
い
by blood, but in terms of lineage. So she was Flem's master.
魔法使いはこうでなくちゃ。
Oh god. I hope he doesn't hurt
こいつ
them.
全然凍らね
He was told to distract them, not to kill them.
え。ネフティア
脆弱
Jeez.
すぎる。
カネボーグ分かってる。
殺傷能力にかける氷の魔法に水がなければ戦えない魔法使い。
He's already sussed them.
俺は何をやらされている。それでは本当にガキの重りだ。
Well, that was the point. You're not supposed to kill them, just keep them busy.
言ってくれるぜ。
老人たちは未だに防御魔法中心の消耗戦のやり方でも教えているのか。ゾルトラークの対処法として開発された防御魔法は魔法そのものに対しては強い耐性を持つが、物質的なものに対する防御性能は昔とほぼ変わっていない。魔物や戦士の物理攻撃を防ぐには十分な防御性能だったからだ。防御魔法にオーバースペックはあってはならない。
Or
完
they'll
璧を求め
fracture.
れば術式がより複雑化し、発動
Okay.
速度に致命的な影響が出る。魔法の歴史は攻撃と防御だから、現代の攻撃魔法は物質を操るものが主流になった。
Yeah, that is something that we've seen from all the mages so far. Jesus Christ.
俺の魔法は物質による圧倒的な質量攻撃。
Burst through the defensive.
そのまま眠っていろ。
Or just to overwhelm them in general.
不用意に近づいていいのかよ。人の体の6割は水でできてんだぜ。
それがどうした。
So she can technically
魔法
control
とい
you,
うのは
right?
イメージの世界だ。人の体にどう水が配分されているのか想像できるのか。それらを取り出して操るイメージは、イメージできないものは魔法では実現できない。それに仮にこの場に水があったとしても、こんな小娘は脅威でもなんで
The
もない。
cockiness will be your downfall.
二人も聞かねえのか。嫌な大人だぜ。嘘ついてんな。てめえ。公爵垂れるほどの戦い好きなら、水のある場所で私たちを叩きのめしているはずだ。何をそんなに怖がっている？
Because he's worried that they will actually overwhelm him. He's good in this area against one-on-one, but not against them both. Frieren has no chill.
このままでは魔力を削られて終
Reaction
わ
not
る
even phased.
悪いが早めに決着をつけるぞ。フリーレン。
Try and settle it.
倒すドルグ。
It's
Boy, boy,
really
man.
cool looking, but
なんて
still.
戦い方しやがる。
派手にやるな、あのじいさん。
結界は
There's a lot
大
of
丈夫なの？
elemental magic in this show.
この結界は大魔法使いゼーリエが施したものだ。
結界を解析している奴がいる。
どちらにせよ無駄な行為だ。この世
あ
にゼー
れ
リエを超える魔法使いがいると思うか？
She defeated the Gaming King. She ain't going down this easy.
若な、反撃だと。絶え間の
Oh,
ない
she's
誓いの
so
ようだぞ。
cool.
そのような隙なぞ。
Boy, bye. Oh, my girl. He truly thought he could bring her down. Absolutely
周りを区
not.
切れ。ここまでか。
She's not gonna kill you. She'll show you mercy, I
こい
think.
つは最後まで基礎的な戦闘魔法しか使っていな
But
かっ
she
た。
doesn't need anything more than that.
見習い魔法使いに対する指導試合ではないか。
She's just that powerful.
驚いた。これほどの高みに来てまだ上がいるとはな。
シュティレを返してもらう。
お前がわしの立場だとして教えると思うか。
Oh, Frieren has no chill.
近く
I
に
love
潜伏して
her.
いるんでしょ。来なければ電剣を殺す。
And then you'll be out of the
ラオフェ
running,
ン、こいつ
regardless.
に殺意はない。
I mean,
じいさんがやられた私よりも、いや、リヒターと比べてもはるかに格上の魔法使いだ。
少しでも魔力を発すれば探知される。
この距離ならじいさんを回収して逃げられる。
やめろ。
you're not gonna listen.
仕方がない
She's
か。
gonna think she
あ
knows
まりこうい
better.
うことはしたくないんだけど。
Oh,
バカが。
he literally told you not to.
でもあいつ、じいさんが死なない程度には痛めつけるつもりだったよ。
それでもわしらが勝った。
じいさん、なんでそこまでして一級魔法使いになりたい
Yeah,
ん
we
だ
haven't quite learned what's driving him at the
欲しいも
minute.
のは何だって持っているんだろ。
わしの故郷は北部高原の奥地でな。魔族どもが暴れたせいで、今じゃ一級魔法使いしか入れない。
Oh, he wants to go
久々に
home.
墓参りに行きたかった。
Oh,
それだけだ。
that's actually a really
ガキ
sweet
どもを助けに行
reason.
った方がいいんじゃないか。
But why
もっと
wouldn't
も
he just
もう
take
遅いかもし
a
れんがな。
first class mage with him
リヒターは
anyway?
お前と対峙する前に彼女たちを殺
He
す。
doesn't need to be a first class
そういう
mage to do
合理
it.
的な判断
Unless
が
he
できる
feels
男
like
だ。
he
それ
needs
なら
to
大
be
丈夫
in
だよ。
order
カー
to
ネたちが
prove something to those
結界の解析がちょうど
he
終わった
lost. I don't know. Barrier's gonna come down.
もう終わりだ。
Oh my god.
本気で殺すつもりだなこれは。
Because he doesn't want to
マジで
face
1分持たないぞ。
Frieren. She's gonna bring it down. She's gonna bring it down.
お前は
Oh my god.
ゲナ、
問題ない。ありえないことだ。
Not
天
to
地が
her,
ひっ
it's
くり返
not.
っても
Holy shit.
破られる。
全然。あのエルフの魔法使いは何者だ。
受験者名簿によると、名はフリーレン。
The most powerful
勇
mage
者一
ever.
行の魔法使いと同じ名だ。
それに彼女は正常の証を持っていたら
Oh
しい。
my god.
最後の大魔法使いか。
What a
やってくれ
badass.
たな、フリーレン。1000年ぶりだというのに、ずいぶんな挨拶じゃないか。これだから魔法使いはやめられん。魔法の世界では、天地がひっくり返ることもある。
なんでこんなことを。
カンネがかわいそうだったからね。魔法は自由であるべきだ。
水を操る魔法
Oh
使い。
yes, it's gonna give her an
魔
advantage
法は
now.
イメージの世界だ。水を操る魔法使いに雨の中で勝てるイメージができる。
Oh boy. Enjoy.
雨だ。
I really want her to whoop his ass.
一刻も早くとどめよ。
やっと隙を見せやがったな。焦って魔力が乱れてるぜ。
この程度の時間
Look at them go. Come on, girls.
今ならわかるぜ。お前が水を操る魔法を恐れた理由が、こいつはお前の言った物質による圧倒的な質量攻撃そのものだ。
Come
ラ
on.
ビーネ。逃がさないようにね。リームシュトロ
もともと逃げ場なんてないだろうが。
Oh,
だから水は嫌いなんだ。
you were asking for it. If anything, he probably got off lightly compared to what he was trying to do to them.
そう、よく頑張った。撫でんの。
They're like her babies.
すまん。
やむをえんさ。ラオフェン、拘束を解けるか。
冗談。すごい魔力だよ、この拘束。
なら木の方だ。叩き折れ。
He's got something up his sleeve. What? What is he planning?
電剣、もう無理だ。
私ももうジルベアを使えるほどの魔力は残ってないよ。
こういう時宮廷魔法使いならどうすると思う？最後まで醜くあが
Oh,
く。
come on.
他のパーティーの戦闘の痕跡を探して
Right.
たどる。
I thought he meant he was going after Frieren again. I was like, dude, not even you're that dumb.
あんたほんとつまんないよね。マジで基礎的な魔法しか使ってないじゃん。
それはフリーレン様に言ってください。それに戦闘魔法以外だったら制限されていませんよ。
そういえば鳥を捕まえる魔法使ってたっけ？他にどんな魔法使えるの？
服が透けて見える魔法とか。
Really obscure magic.
あのさ、楽しくおしゃべりしてるところ悪いけど、手の内はあまりさらさない方がいいんじゃないの？第二次試験からは、僕らは敵同士なんだからさ。
So don't be like one-on-one. Keep your cards close to your chest, Fern. Ubel fascinates me. I want to know more about her.
配送したパーティーだ。少し離れたところに仲間の死体があった。
Oh, he's really cruel, isn't he? I guess that's how he's become an imperial mage, is taking advantage of others in vulnerable positions. At the lowest, he's going to fight them, essentially, to get this still.
どうするつもりだ？
Fight them. They've just lost someone as well.
正面から行くのか。
He's a menace.
残っちゃいないぞ。
それは相手も同じこと。
They don't have any mana either.
腹をくくれ。男だろうが。
おい、冗談だろ。
Oh, he's not joking.
殴り合いじゃ。
Oh my god. Fisticuffs in my arena. Oh, they're pulling each other's hair again. God damn it. It's on his butt.
第一次試験合格者は計6パーティー18名。第二次試験は3日後だ。詳細については追って通達する。
Oh, so they get some downtime before the next test at least. Siri's gonna meet Fern, Frieren's apprentice as well. Really is like a dynasty at this point, isn't it?
苦労してんだな、兄ちゃん。
Stark's like, I don't know what to do with myself. Oh, God, love him. He's like, I can stay up as late as I want and Fern isn't going to get mad at me. And he's just like, oh, your wife sounds harsh. It really is like a little dynasty of mages. Ciri taught Flem, Flem taught Frieren, Frieren taught Fern, and she'll probably end up meeting Fern. The only one that isn't alive today is Flem, which is really sad. But I love that Ciri didn't take it harshly. They're just like, and this is how you say hello. I'm really excited for them to actually meet one another because Frieren definitely knew who built the barrier, and I cannot wait for them to have an interaction because she didn't think Frieren was really anything, that she didn't have the burning ambition because she refused the spell. Because in Frieren's mind, it's better to search and discover it yourself than to have it handed to you merely because somebody else has discovered it. In her mind, she wants to be the one to track down this magic, find this magic, because it means more than simply just having someone go, oh, well, here you go, have it. What's the point of working hard if somebody else is going to hand it to you? What's the point of being passionate about something or loving something if you don't actually dedicate the time and energy into honing those abilities, honing those skills. Denkin, I really want to know more about. Him and Ubel really kind of fascinate me. Denkin, he's saying that the only reason he wants to be a first mage is because he wants to be able to go visit his previous home and visit a grave there, but he can't go without a first mage. But it's kind of like, is that the full reason? Because that made me almost sympathetic for him, but we've seen that he's quite merciless, quite callous, so I don't know if I fully believe that's the full story. Because if it's solely that he needs to go there with a first mage, he could just hire a first mage and bring the first mage there with him. He doesn't need to do the exam himself unless it's a matter of pride. But it seems that power and authority are also key aspects of his personality, because he wanted to beat Frieren because he knew who she was, and that was to him almost like a status symbol, that he was able to be, in his mind, one of the last great mages, is what Frieren's just been referred to as. So he wanted that power that comes with having defeated the last great mage, but also the mage in the party of heroes, the mage that helped beat the demon king. That's such like a status symbol to him that he was unwilling to allow that opportunity to pass by, even though they had the still. They didn't actually need to take Frieren out, but then again, they kind of had to, because Frieren would have not stopped until she got the still back anyway. But it's just very interesting to hear that kind of side story, and I'm a bit reluctant to believe that that's the full picture. It could be part of the picture, but I don't believe it's the full picture. I just think there's more to it than that. And Ubel just fascinates me in general. She's such an interesting, quirky individual. I really want to know more about her and why she ended up killing this first mage. And I don't think we have the full picture. She comes across as quite ruthless in her tactics, that she doesn't quite care, but I have a feeling that it could potentially be a front, that she maybe does care more than she lets on, but she's maybe been hurt in the past and is hiding behind this facade of uncaringness and callousness. Kenna's magic is so cool, and I'm glad that they got their moment to actually show how powerful they are if given the opportunity. It was an unfair disadvantage that he isolated them from water, and then when she finally gets the opportunity, she gets to absolutely crush him, but at least he got off easy compared to everything that he did to her. She could have made it worse, but no, he got off very lightly in relation. But I'm excited to see Frieren meet Sari, especially because Sari didn't think favorably of her, didn't think that she actually would be the one to beat the Demon King, was even a bit like, are you saying that I can't beat the Demon King? And Flem was like, no, we can't. She genuinely will do it, but we can't do it. Flem is saying essentially to Sari that you seek battle, so you cannot kill the Demon King. And infers that she wouldn't like to live in a peaceful age, because where would be the fun in that if there was peace, because they actively want to engage in conflicts. Whereas Frieren's the opposite. Frieren doesn't want to be engaged in conflict unless she has to, which makes her very level-headed, very analytical in her approach, because she strategizes. She finds the best technique in order to bring about an end to a battle in the quickest way possible, instead of drawing it out for the love of conflict and the love of combat. So yeah, of course she's going to be the one that beats the Demon King, because she's big brain. Not to say that Seri isn't, but I think there's a difference between someone that actively loves conflict and actively loves war, and somebody that seeks to avoid it. Because if you seek to avoid it, you're more rational, you're more level-headed when you're confronted with the concept of war, and that you're willing to actually think about what it is to bring about the end to a battle in the quickest way possible, rather than drawing it out. Whereas Seri would more likely try to draw it out for the love of conflict, the love of combat, and therefore could probably find herself in a situation where she's overwhelmed because she's exhausted her mana, or she's found herself in a situation that she can't unthink herself out of because she's allowed herself to be baited into a trap. I don't know. It's just going to be so interesting to see how those two interact with each other, especially now that Frieren has essentially announced her presence by destroying her barrier. She knows that Frieren's here. they're going to have an interaction at some point, but how that's going to go down, I don't know. I'm really excited to see how that all plays out, but also just to learn more about Denkin and Ubel because I find them incredibly fascinating. And we now know that they're going to be having a test where they're all up against each other. So everyone is on their own. There's no teams anymore. They're going to have to start taking out each other in order to win this next task. I don't think we'll see the next task straight away. I think they'll give us a little bit of a breather before they throw us into another one. They'll probably give us some downtime of the mages, and we'll get to see the different ways that they interact and engage with each other outside of the test. But it's so funny that he's saying this was practically a combat lesson for a trainee mage. She only used basic combat spells until the end. Because again, she doesn't need anything modern or flashy. The combat spells that she's learned, the defensive spells that she's learned, they are powerful for a reason. They have withstood the test of time for a reason. People overlook them for flashy elemental magic, modern magic, but Frieren doesn't need all of that. She uses what's necessary, she uses what's good in the situation and gains the advantage that way. Even with all the flashy spells that Denkin's using, he couldn't overwhelm her. But that fire tornado was really freaking cool. He just didn't expect Frieren to withstand it. Of course he didn't. He thought he had the upper hand. He thought he was better than her. Joke's on him. Joke was on him. But I think that's all I have to say for now in relation to this episode. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next time, bye!